Hello and welcome to my channel, your go-to source for the latest in USA Gossip 24. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for all the updates. Let's dive right in.
Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have had a love story for the ages, from soap opera co-stars to talk show co-hosts. Naturally, their marriage has often become a topic of discussion on Live with Kelly and Mark. Recently, however, a few insiders have weighed in on what's really going on behind the scenes for the couple following some recent on-air teasing. A discussion about going to the airport on Live with Kelly and Mark recently led to a few insider shares. Ripa and Consuelos famously met while working on the soap opera, All My Children. Playing each other's love interests on the soap, the two would soon tie in the knot in 1996. During Live's October 22 episode, Ripa recently brought up the concept of an airport divorce. This referred to going to an airport separately, even for the same flight. As Ripa noted, "You and I have different traveling philosophies. You need to get there between 4 to 16 hours before a flight takes off." For his part, Consuelos noted, "I like to get there an hour and a half before." Ripa also discussed her husband getting irritated about being recognized. He disagreed, noting, "Don't put that out there. I'm very nice to people. That's not cool." On whether he gets bothered by his spouse, Consuelos also added, "No. I don't get irritated with you. I'm irritated with you right now for trying to throw me under the bus." Following this, a few insiders recently discussed what might be going on behind the scenes with Rob Shooter's Naughty But Nice Substack. These sources felt that Consuelos is still adjusting to taking over hosting duties from Seacrest. Ripa has discussed her marriage on the show in the years prior to Consuelos becoming her co-star. One insider shared, "Mark's not used to this kind of fame. He loves the perks, but hates the constant exposure. Kelly's been doing this for decades. She lives for the audience. Mark just wants to get through the show and disappear." Another source also weighed in, "She's a natural showwoman. He's a private guy trapped in public life." Of course, even before Consuelos officially joined the show, Ripa talked about their marriage and their life together, for better or worse. In a 2020 episode, while speaking with then-host Seacrest, Ripa noted, "You're going to fight, you're going to have disagreements. Relationships, marriages are not sprints, it's a marathon." However, she ultimately felt, "But you just got to push through. Just push through." Did you see this recent episode of Live with Kelly and Mark? What is your reaction to this story? Make sure you come back to USA Gossip 24 for all the latest reality TV and celebrity news. The moment was meant to be light, playful, and fleeting, just another quick exchange between one of daytime television's most beloved couples. Instead, it has lingered far longer than anyone expected, evolving into one of the most talked about on-air moments in recent Live history. Kelly Ripa and her husband, Mark Consuelos, are no strangers to teasing banter, but this time, the joke about divorce hit a nerve that clearly hasn't fully healed. Even weeks later, insiders say Mark remains visibly irritated over how the topic unfolded on live television, and viewers can't stop debating whether the laughter masked genuine frustration. A joke that landed the wrong way. Kelly Ripa has built a career on sharp wit, self-deprecating humor, and an ability to turn everyday marriage moments into relatable comedy. When Mark Consuelos officially joined her as co-host on Live, fans expected sparks, and they got them. The couple's chemistry has been undeniable, often blurring the line between professional hosting and marital banter. But during one particular segment, a joking reference to divorce, delivered casually, almost offhandedly, suddenly changed the temperature in the room. Kelly laughed. The audience laughed. Mark did not. Viewers noticed it immediately. His smile tightened. His body language stiffened. And while he tried to play along, the discomfort was unmistakable. Social media lit up within minutes, with fans dissecting every facial expression and pause. "What just happened?" one viewer posted. "That joke went too far," another commented. "Mark looks genuinely upset," wrote a third. Why divorce jokes cut deeper than people realize? For some couples, joking about divorce is harmless. For others, especially those who have spent decades publicly defending their relationship, it can feel like crossing an invisible line. Kelly and Mark have been married since 1996, a rarity in Hollywood. Over the years, they've faced rumors, tabloid speculation, and constant scrutiny. They've spoken openly about marriage being hard work, about disagreements, and about choosing each other even when it isn't easy. That context matters. According to sources close to the couple, Mark has always been more sensitive to public narratives about their marriage, particularly anything that suggests instability. He takes their relationship very seriously, one insider shared. So when divorce gets joked about on a national platform, even casually, it hits differently for him. Behind the scenes, tension after the cameras stopped. What viewers didn't see was what happened after the show went to commercial, and later, when the cameras shut off entirely. Insiders claim the mood backstage shifted noticeably. Mark wasn't yelling or storming off, a production source revealed. But he was clearly irritated. Very quiet. Very controlled. That's how you know he's upset. Kelly, by contrast, reportedly brushed it off at first, assuming it was just another moment of on-air awkwardness. But as the day went on, it became clear the joke had struck a deeper chord than she anticipated. He felt blindsided, another source said. He didn't like being put in a position where he had to laugh along or risk looking humorless. The pressure of being a married co-hosting team. Since Mark joined Live, the couple has faced a new kind of pressure, one that goes beyond marriage or television alone. They are now co-workers. They are now brand partners. They are now a married couple whose dynamic is scrutinized daily. Every disagreement, every sarcastic remark, every awkward pause becomes content for viewers to analyze. While Kelly thrives in that environment, Mark is still adjusting. He didn't sign up to have his marriage dissected 5 days a week, a source explained. He joined the show to work with his wife, not to turn their relationship into a running joke. That difference in perspective has reportedly fueled lingering frustration, especially when jokes veer into territory Mark considers too personal. Fans divided, harmless humor or hidden hurt? As clips from the moment continued circulating online, fans became sharply divided. One camp insists the outrage is overblown. They've joked like this for years, one fan argued. People are reading way too much into it. Another added, that's just how they communicate. It's not that deep. But others disagree, strongly. You could see it in his face, one viewer wrote. That wasn't acting. Another commented, if your spouse looks uncomfortable, the joke should stop. Period. The debate has only intensified as Mark's demeanor on subsequent episodes appeared more restrained, with fewer playful jabs and noticeably guarded reactions. Mark's silence speaks volumes. Notably, Mark Consuelos has not directly addressed the incident publicly. No Instagram post. No on-air clarification. No offhand joke to defuse the situation. And that silence, according to experts, is telling. Mark tends to speak up when something truly bothers him, a longtime observer noted. So the fact that he hasn't joked it away suggests he's still processing it. Body language experts analyzing later episodes pointed out subtle changes, less leaning toward Kelly, fewer spontaneous smiles, and a more deliberate, controlled tone when discussing relationship topics. Small details, but in a show built on intimacy, they stand out. Kelly's perspective, comedy versus consideration. Kelly Ripa, for her part, has always defended humor as a coping mechanism. She often jokes about aging, parenting struggles, and yes, marriage challenges. Those close to her say she never intended to hurt Mark. Kelly genuinely thought it was harmless, a source said. To her, joking about divorce is the opposite of threatening, it's absurd, because she never actually sees it as an option. But intention doesn't always equal impact. According to insiders, Kelly later acknowledged that the moment may have gone too far, even if she didn't expect such a strong reaction. She understands now that it touched on something Mark takes very seriously, one source explained. And she doesn't want him feeling exposed or uncomfortable. The bigger issue, public narratives and private boundaries. At the heart of this controversy is a larger question, where should public couples draw the line between transparency and privacy? Kelly and Mark have built a brand on openness. Fans feel like they know them. But moments like this highlight the risks of that approach. When you let people into your marriage, you lose control over how it's interpreted, a media analyst noted. And not every joke translates the same way to every partner. For Mark, the divorce joke wasn't just a punchline, it was a public suggestion that their marriage could be disposable. Even if said in jest, that implication reportedly didn't sit well. Is the tension still there? Sources say things between Kelly and Mark are not in crisis, but the irritation hasn't completely faded. They're fine, one insider emphasized. They love each other deeply. But Mark hasn't forgotten how that moment made him feel. Viewers may continue to notice subtle changes in their on-air dynamic as both adjust, Kelly being more cautious with marriage jokes, and Mark being more reserved during playful segments. Some fans even speculate the incident may lead to clearer boundaries about what topics are off-limits on the show. What this moment reveals about their marriage. Ironically, the controversy may reveal something positive: the strength of a marriage that can absorb discomfort, address it privately, and move forward without public dramatics. Kelly and Mark didn't argue on air. They didn't issue statements. They didn't turn it into a publicity stunt. Instead, they handled it the way many long-married couples do, through quiet conversations, reflection, and recalibration. And in a media landscape that thrives on explosive reactions, that restraint speaks volumes. Final thoughts: a lesson in live TV reality. Live television is unpredictable. Jokes don't always land. Emotions don't always stay hidden. And when your co-host is also your spouse, the stakes are even higher. Mark Consuelos may still be livid, or at least unsettled, by the divorce talk that caught him off guard. But if history is any indication, this moment will become just another chapter in a long, resilient partnership that has weathered far bigger storms. Still, one thing is clear: when it comes to Kelly and Mark, even a joke can spark a national conversation, and remind viewers that behind the smiles and laughter, real feelings are always at play.